Welcome to another edition of Zoom City Talk, where we try to figure out what these people do all day. And by these people, I mean the fine city employees of the city of Pittsburgh, including in the office of City Councilman Anthony Coghill. Say hello to Tyler Trainor. Tyler, welcome to City Talk.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Are you among the many of us working from home at this moment?
Yes, we're getting there. We're closing in on going back. I can't wait. I haven't been able to go down the city county building in some time, so it'll be nice to get back eventually.
I drop in occasionally. It's a ghost town. It's really, really weird. It's bizarro world. Go ahead.
Yeah, my chief of staff Blake was taking me down occasionally, here and there, just to, kind of see the office a little bit. But it's pretty dead down there.
So what do you do for Councilman Coghill?
My position title is digital media manager and constituent liaison.
So you're doing a lot of communicating about the office through, I don't know, Facebook and Twitter, social networking, or whatever you're using? Yeah,
just kind of getting, information out there on our Facebook page, along with writing proclamations, doing flyers, helping with, newsletters and, his weekly newsletter and, things like that. It's just about getting information out to the public, along with, just helping our residents and constituents with day-to-day stuff.
I know, coincidentally, and we talked about this on the phone prior to the interview, you were helping my girlfriend deal with an issue of dog poop in a neighbor's backyard, and you did the best you could with, as much as you had.
Right. Yeah. It's always something, it's the first time I had to deal with something like that, but it's always something new and interesting.
I know, because in fact, I was unsure who to call, at first, like, that's an odd complaint. It'd be more like there's an abandoned car in the backyard, or I would think would be more typical.
Right. Yeah. It's a unique thing.
Is your background in communications?
Yeah, I graduated with my undergrad from Point Park with a communications and marketing degree.
Good for you. So that ended up being valuable, because I'm sure that resume item helped get you this job.
Yeah, my first couple jobs out of college, really didn't have anything to do with, didn't really have anything to do with my background or communications or anything like that. So it's very nice to kind of finally get that, start doing that again.
And you also work, you told me when we talked earlier, you also work for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I've been working for Major League Baseball since I was in college, since I was 21. A guy who used to coach against me in Little League Baseball in Brookline just happened to post on Facebook, "Hey, if you like baseball and need a part-time job for the summer, let me know." And I was the first one to get to him. And at first I was doing a lot of pitch tracking and things like that. So when you would see on the TV on Root Sports and AT&T Sports now that where the pitch exactly was and how fast it was. I was originally doing that, and now I'm kind of making sure the teams aren't cheating and no banging on trash cans and things like that.
And let me ask you about both of those. So you were pointing the radar gun at the pitcher?
No, we had a couple different cameras set up and computers, and from a different couple angles, and it was getting spin rate and things like that, and where the pitch was coming in, how fast it was coming in, along with tracking players and how fast they were running the bases and how far they were leading off first base.
And is that to gather statistics for the club, or is that to just let the announcers know so they can use that information on the air?
A little bit of both. Even umpires would take a copy of the game, what we tracked, to see what they could work on themselves if they missed a pitch here or there, things like that. Also, if you couldn't watch the game from your TV, if you wanted to go on MLB.com, that's how that we would give information out.
All right, and then now, how on earth can you prevent someone from cheating? How does that work?
I'm just kind of patrolling, almost like a Major League Baseball police officer. Just kind of making sure players aren't on their phones. There's nothing suspicious going on. Delayed feeds for the games inside the clubhouse and things like that.
So players are not allowed to be on their phones during the game.
Right.
Is that because they might be communicating information or?
Yeah. I don't know if there was ever any instances of that. I guess that's just kind of, a worry of them. But yeah, I don't know if that's ever happened.
So maybe they just don't want the players to look disinterested while in the middle of a game, I'm guessing.
Yeah. It's mostly in the clubhouse. They would never bring it out. I don't think they were ever allowed to bring it out during the game, like on the the dugout or anything like that.
All right. So back to your government job. Have you learned anything that surprised you about just working in city government?
Yeah, because originally, just growing up and seeing, I never really contacted my city council person growing up, and I don't think my parents usually did. But I just you look around, you go day to day, and just see how things see things get done, and I'm not really I never really question how they got done or what avenues and channels they had to go through to get done. I just when a street got paved or when a building got demolished or something like that. I just never really thought about it. And yeah, definitely learning what goes into it and what kind of channels you have to go through is pretty interesting.
And if you're handling some community liaison, what other kinds of comments or complaints or requests are you getting other than dog poop?
Yeah, like a lot of paving requests. That's always a thing, especially with how bad the winters are here. Those kind of things, snow removal. That was a big concern this year. And yeah, just a lot of, it really changes day to day. There's nothing that's ever seems too consistent. And it's pretty nice.
I don't know how you're freezing up a little bit there, but there's probably nothing you can do. Either that or you're one hell of a ventriloquist. That would be really impressive. So would you recommend a career in government service?
Yeah. If you like helping the community and want to see your community become a better place, absolutely. I think a lot of the time, the constituents are very respectful and, they do a good job at, seeing they're out on the streets day to day, seeing what needs done. Yeah, definitely. It's very, very rewarding, job.
And how is it working for Councilman Coghill? He seems like the Energizer buddy. He's always on the move. He's here, he's there, lots of energy.
Yeah, it's honestly great. He's the best boss I ever had for sure. His hard work, when he, like you said, he's a very energetic guy. He's doing roofing if he's not doing, doing public servant stuff. But he's really hands-on and seeing the community, and it's very contagious, like a very contagious work ethic, down to, from our chief of staff, Blake, to Katie, and then to me, they just kind of, instilled that in me to, how working hard and getting back to the, the constituents and kind of giving them the best I can.
And where are you from originally?
I'm from Beachview, born and raised. Grew up on Realty Avenue right off Broadway. And I just recently moved to Mount Washington in maybe like a year and a half ago. But for the first 27 years of my life, I was living in Beachview.
Is there something a friend of mine was complaining that she thought they could use a good coffee shop. Is there anything you think Beachview could use that it doesn't have now?
Yeah, definitely a coffee shop.
They've got good pizza there. I know that.
Yes, definitely. The food in the business district's really growing fast. Even since I've been in, there's been, quite a few changes and things like that. And growing up, Broadway was pretty lively, and then it kind of died down a little bit, and now it's, kind of back on its way up. So I think there's room for a lot of different businesses there, and definitely a lot of different businesses could be successful there.
They say the neon lights are bright on Broadway.
That's what they say, huh?
All right. So do you see yourself advancing in government, or maybe advancing in Major League Baseball, or who knows?
Yeah, I just I don't really try to look too far to the future. I just want to, at the end of the day, I just want to be happy and keep moving forward. Whatever.
All right. Well, I'll be willing to let you go. Do you have any parting thoughts?
No, thanks for having me. And it was, I'm sorry that I kept freezing up a little bit, but
well, I don't think you did it on purpose. So
right. I hope I got as good as interview as you hoped for.
Oh, definitely. So thank you so much for doing it. Sure appreciate it. Most people turn me down, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, and have a good one.
All right, you too. That's Tyler Trainor. We'll be back, and you will meet the director of the Department of Permits, Licenses, and Inspections, assuming I can actually get that out of my mouth. Stay with us.
Since 1982, City Channel Pittsburgh has been your home for your government. Since 2014, YouTube has been your online home for your government. I'm Communication Technology Manager David Feiner, and the time to subscribe is right now. Just go to youtube.com/citychannelpittsburgh, hit the subscribe button, and you won't ever again miss any of our public uploads. From City Council meetings to Black Pittsburgh Matters, from the Grant Street Experience to CityTalk, and from specialty programming to city-related promos. You will get all of these and more delivered right to your inbox. It takes less than 10 seconds to subscribe. Then sit back and watch all of your favorite City Channel programming from the comfort of your desktop, laptop, or mobile device. That's youtube.com/citychannelpittsburgh. Subscribe today.
Welcome back to City Talk. We are pleased as pigs and excrement to have the director of the Department of Permits, Licenses, and Inspections, all three of them, Sarah Kinter on the program. Sarah, welcome to City Talk.
Thanks for having me.
So that's quite a mouthful. Could you tell the folks, the uninitiated, what all that means?
Yeah, sure. The Department of Permits, Licenses, and Inspections is the city department that's charged with ensuring safety of the built environment. So we have a construction division that ensures that construction is occurring per code. We have a code enforcement division that goes out and sites where there's violations and issues notices of violations to bring folks into compliance. And then we have a customer service team and a support team that supports both of those units in our work.
Do you happen to know if these all these items were once spread out over different agencies and then somebody got the bright idea to consolidate, or has it always been like it is?
So prior to 2014, there was the Bureau of Building Inspection, which was housed under public safety. And so when Mayor Peduto came in 2014, he really split out this as its own department and took some of the licensing provisions and some of the provisions under Title 10 of the Pittsburgh City Code. And really, it's been operating that way since 2014.
Interesting. And so you must have an interesting background just to be qualified to do all of this. How did you come about getting the gig?
Yeah, so luckily there are international and national organizations that provide guidance on best practices for building codes. So one is the International Code Council. That's the international group that actually creates the model building codes that jurisdictions adopt. And then locally in the state of Pennsylvania, there is a Pennsylvania Construction Codes Act and dedicated resources for teaching folks how to be a building code official. So everyone in our office takes examinations to be qualified for their jobs and get through the probationary period, myself included. So I did have to pass a test, a building code official test. Under the state of Pennsylvania, and our plans examiners, our inspectors, both in operations and in construction, our application technicians, all take examinations to be qualified for their jobs.
So is there an end to the examinations, or do they never end and it's like you never graduated from college? It just goes on and on.
So after you take the exam, you have the certification, but then you're required to obtain continuing education units annually so that you can keep up with changes to the code. And, you know, the code books are pretty thick. There's a lot to learn and a lot to know. So continuing education fosters that knowledge.
All right. So what kinds of things might you issue permits for?
So we issue permits for construction. So that would include building and residential and commercial units, fire alarms, fire suppression systems, mechanical systems.
If I want to build a new deck, sorry, I didn't interrupt. A new deck where one does not exist, would I be getting a permit from you guys?
Yes, you would. If the deck was 30 inches or less, you would be getting a zoning and development review application, and they're going to review. And if it's higher than that, you would do that zoning review. You would also get a building permit.
All right, and then what is being licensed?
So we license contractors and trade license professionals who are qualified to get those permits issued for commercial structures and some residential structures where folks aren't working on their own home. You can work on your own home. And then we also issue a smattering of business licenses that are under Title VII of the Pittsburgh City Code, which would include towing licenses, parking lot licenses, and different variety of vendors, things of that nature.
And then inspections, I guess that's self-explanatory. You're inspecting the buildings that need repair or have already just been repaired or whatever.
Yeah, so we're inspecting buildings to ensure that they conform with the construction that was approved and the work scope that was approved as part of that administrative permitting process. And then we also have a group of inspectors on our operations side that inspect towards the property maintenance code and zoning codes, and to ensure that those buildings are upkept.
So let me ask you a personal question. Where are you from originally?
I am from the Wilkes-Barre area in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Have you seen that HBO Mayor show? It's a drama about never mind. It's just set in that neck of the woods. And I was going to ask you if they all really talk like that, but if you haven't seen it, it's not worth it.
I haven't seen it, but now I'm curious. So
it's kind of more of a Philly accent than a Pittsburgh, but there's some similarities. Okay,
I'll check it out. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Off of my head.
It's on HBO, MARE.
Okay.
Mayor of something or other, but not mayor. But although Mayor Peduto does like his title to be pronounced mayor, but that's just a coincidence. At any rate, so how did you end up here?
So now 10 years ago, I drugged my husband across the state so that I could pursue my master's, and went to University of Pittsburgh, got my master's, and stayed.
Awesome. And does your husband regret you dragging him here?
No, we love it here. And, just recently bought a home. We're always like inviting our family and friends to live out here too. So we're Pittsburgh advocates.
Oh, cool. How have you been coping with COVID?
We've been doing well. We had our daughter last April.
Congratulations.
Right. Thank you.
Elated.
And so it was, super exciting. But in COVID times, it was a little tough, being away from family and, having a newborn in the house. Luckily, my husband and I are homebodies, so we're accustomed to just being happy in each other's space. But, wanted to share those new moments, with our in-laws and parents, but we all were very vigilant.
That's a miracle, though. So you guys are homebodies. So you're not among those ready to kill each other.
No, we're really boring. We played board games together. And
well, that's good. Nerds of a feather, though. I mean, that works out nicely. What kind of board games?
All sorts. There's a lot of strange new ones that have come out these days, but we like puzzle games and what they call like engine games, where you sort of like build up resources and then see who's like done better over a period of time. So this kind of like slow burn strategic games.
Huh. And I neglected to ask you, what was your master's degree in?
Public administration.
All right. So perfect for this job. Was there any other job you were seeking and you ended up in permits, licenses, and inspections?
Well, I actually started with the city in the Civil Rights Agency, the Commission on Human Relations, which I really loved, and saw this opening for administrative work in permits, had a really strong interest in housing and fair housing, and sort of wanted to, view it from a different lens and a different nexus, and moved over and really love it. The permit world is a fast-paced, high volume, like large workflow environment. And for a lot of us, we really like that. It's a really interesting viewpoint into what's happening with the city, and every day is kind of different.
Cool. So then you were eventually promoted to this position.
Yeah, in June of 2020, was formally promoted.
Congratulations on that too. So it sounds like you really like your job.
I really do like my job. I think you'll find, most folks in PLI really like our jobs. We were really busy through the pandemic, but it's very interesting work. And I feel as though people don't really know what's going on with permits until they have to get one, and then they sort of have to dive in. And it's an interesting code enforcement, lens.
Did it surprise you when you first became involved in government that there weren't a bunch of people smoking cigarettes with their feet up on the desk and scratching their bellies? The caricature some people have of, government in general?
Yeah, people have that caricature, but, I found that when I was at the Commission on Human Relations, when I moved over to PLI, everyone was really hardworking, really interested in improving processes, which is another thing that we really love about the permits department. We're always looking at, how are we doing things? Can we do them better? Why are we doing them in a certain way? Looking at what kind of regulations are the foundation of what we do, and still trying to provide excellent customer service. So it's a unique government agency.
Is there anything that you haven't been able to do during COVID that you're dying to do as soon as things open up even a little bit more?
That's a good question. I haven't been on a roller coaster in a really long time. I really love roller coasters. So maybe something like roller coaster related, but I'm not sure.
I admire your intestinal fortitude. I went on a roller coaster, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago in New York City, because my girlfriend loves Woody Allen and she always wanted to go to Coney Island because Annie Hall was partly Coney Island. And after getting off the roller coaster, I vowed I will never, ever again get on a roller coaster. And I was wondering why I ever did in the first place.
Yeah,
but you enjoy the terror.
A little bit. I like roller coasters. I don't like teacups and like circular motion.
Okay. Yeah.
Roller coasters.
So you're a big Kennywood person?
What's funny is I've not been to Kennywood yet.
Huh.
Yeah.
I only went there once to shoot a thing for a TV thing. So I'm not a big amusement park fan, but there's no shame in that as far as I'm concerned. But if you love roller coasters, I guess you got to go soon.
You know what? That's probably the easiest thing, proximity wise. So
what does your husband do?
He is a recruiter.
Awesome. All right. Well, you guys, you just have the perfect life, and you're just lording it over the rest of us. I can see that now.
Oh man.
Would you recommend a career in government service to people?
Hands down, absolutely. Yes, it's very rewarding. It's a very unique perspective, and it's great to be involved with something really meaningful.
Would you ever consider running for any political office? You don't have to answer that, by the way.
Probably not. No.
Okay, you're a behind the scenes person.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the operations piece of the work the most, I think.
All right. Well, I guess I've kept you long enough. Do you have any parting thoughts, final words of wisdom?
No, but thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, most people turn me down, so I thank you. You're the one I should be thanking. And thanks for putting up with the silly questions. And have you read all of those books behind you?
I've read a lot of them. Some of them are games, so it's not.
So you're working from home today?
I am working from home today. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, you look that much smarter in front of all those books, so that was a smart selection.
Excellent.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on City Talk, Sarah. It was really a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks so much, John. I appreciate it.
That is this edition of City Talk. We will see you next time.